Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. Let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to take a look at whatever the kind of just the big message in love is. By the way, over on the other channel, Case Regardless Life, we just had an epic three-parter that was, it's like, grab your popcorn for that one. But it was very much about love. I didn't know how it was going to run, but it turned out to be quite the epic love story. Now, this is a general check-in in love. To see what comes next in love. My impression is like this is possibly going to be talking more about new love in the storyline. Hi, guys. EM, Astronoid, Lori, great to see you all. We have a 5 of Wands. First off, maybe somebody is putting me in my place and I don't want new love. What makes you think I'm interested? 5 of Wands can be fun, playing, arguing, bantering back and forth, practicing skill sets. It can also be somebody who is lost in the analyzing loop. We have the moon. There is both a secretive energy to the moon, but here she's an archer and she's got her arrow pulled back, almost like, I'm going to say this is actually representing more like Cupid. Maybe a character is like, I don't know how I feel about love. I don't know. And what our character really doesn't know is that Cupid is going to have a lot to say about this. We could have a sudden, like, unexpected person who, lights our heart on fire. This could be somebody that we never expected we'd start to have these feelings for. This could be somebody brand new that walks into our life. We have the Magician. Look, I don't know who our lead character is just yet, but here's the like plot twist in this story. Our lead character is definitely associated with this, right? When I said, let's see what's new in love or what is on the horizon for love in a newer context. So we could assume this is feels more like a single person's reading, right? But we've got somebody who's like, I don't think anything about that. I don't think I've got anything coming up that's new. I don't know how I even feel about this. And then the reminder is, well, darling, it's not always about you. Sometimes the universe plays a role in things. And sometimes we have got the other person that we have to remember, they've got their own plans. This could be that our character has a Virgo or a Gemini that is attracted to them and is coming their way and they don't even know it yet. Sometimes we only think about it from our own context. So I think that's what our lead character is doing here. Let's dig in and ask, who is our lead character? 3 of Pentacles. They are somebody who possibly has a strong bond with other people in their life that they work with, and it's all non-romantic. They have strong bonds with family members. They have strong bonds with community members, and it's non-romantic. I feel like they're really good at attracting awesome people into their life, but it's always non-romantic. And they may spend a lot of time with non-romantic connections in their life. 8 of Wands, they might be about to take a trip. This could be the story of a character who's about to take a little trip someplace. Maybe they need to travel, or maybe this is how they'll get a chance to kind of change their environment, meet somebody new. I actually think, as much as they love the people that they are around that are those non-romantic connections in their life, I think they maybe subconsciously know that they need to change something about their environment, something about what they're doing. Like, you can stay single forever if every moment of your time is taken up with, I go to work, then after work, I, hang out with my nieces and nephews. And then after that, on my weekends, I, go over and hang out with my friends that are in their 80s. And, then after that, I, the company that I keep in my hobbies, it all happens to be, non-romantic possibilities there also. It just feels like if we fill our schedule again and again and again with all places that we would never meet another person who would be dateable material, it's going to be real hard to find somebody. And I think our character is saying, I know that. I kind of know that I need to get out of this, maybe, and in the nicest of ways, get away from these non-romantic but wonderful connections in my life. Otherwise, I shall never meet anybody. Spirit of Cups, Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Thing is, our character's not making any change. They know that they should, but they really have a lot of love for the people around them. And therefore they're like, yeah, but it's not time for me to change something yet. Not really, because if I left, then what would my family do without me? If I moved away this year and moved even a few hours further away, how would I help my elderly family members, or my nieces and nephews are in such a cute age. They love me so much. I'd hate to not be there as they're growing up. So I really don't think that I can move, because I have so much love right where I'm at. I love the people that I engage with. I love all these activities that I do. So I don't think it's the right time. Maybe this is why we've got a character who's like, I'm not going to change anything about my schedule. I just can't. But maybe that's why they're saying the universe may just step in, and somebody else just might approach. They always say you're not going to meet somebody if you're sitting on your couch, and you're expecting that a random person is going to ding dong your door and be like, hello, I'm here. I'm your forever person. I've arrived. Like, that's not the way we're going to go out and meet somebody if we're completely isolating ourselves, or if we're only spending time with those family groups, non-romantic groups, and have no new influx of people into our world. However, this storyline would say, can so happen, because you never know who's seen you from a distance, who's attracted to you, who might be actually gravitating towards you. All right, let's talk about this magician, because this magician seems to be the one in the action-taking energy. Obviously, I'm going to say that we're dealing with the divine feminine in this storyline. Oh, Annie, you sweetheart. Parts 2 and 3 are up in that other video on the other channel. You are so sweet, love. We will get to zodiacs today also on the other channel, guys, and we'll get one tonight here for Cancer. But this is a feminine that we're talking about in this storyline. A Queen of Cups, somebody with a really big heart who really loves the people in her world. Now, let's look at the magician, because that is divine masculine, Virgo, Gemini energy. 8 of Pentacles. There's something here. Maybe he likes the way she is. Maybe he sees her in whatever work she does. Maybe he admires her work. Maybe she's an artist, a painter. Maybe he's drawn into her work. Sometimes people just gravitate in because he's staring at her and he likes the way she does things. He likes her consistency. He likes what he sees her as, like, very dedicated in her world. 5 of Pentacles. But he also sees her as somebody who's got a bit of almost like, look, I'm not saying that he's like, oh, she's such a tragic figure. She's a broken bird. She's just devoted herself to her work and to other people's lives because she, has been brokenhearted and I must go save her. But I think he sees her as someone who maybe understands heartbreak and loss, because he's assuming she's been through it. Maybe that's why she's a big support to other people in life. Let me get it just about you. Who are you, magician? The High Priestess sideways. Okay, so first off, he is an interesting blend of 5D power couple. So he's the Emperor, only in the magical form. The High Priestess is the Empress, but in the magical form, in the 5D realm. So it's interesting that he's got those good vibrations. He's got those sweet sensations. Sorry, that song is in my head now. He already reads her pretty well. He knows that this is somebody that he's gravitating toward, somebody that he's reading her energy quite decently, I think. But he's also, I said, let me ask more just about him. And what we get is he's super intuitive. Maybe he's very aligned with his divine masculine and feminine. He trusts his instincts, his intuition. But it's so wild because we're seeing him acknowledge that this is, I think I just met my other half of the power couple that I've been seeking. The magical, energetic power couple, the one that I belong with. And 4 of Cups says he's of the opinion that, when you realize that there's something pulling at you, if you don't do something about it, it's going to be one of those things you'll never forget. If he doesn't make some action toward her or take action toward her, he will have a regret over this. And he's probably had a regret over other things in his life where, he knew what he knew, but he didn't pursue something. It could be like, I know I should have, walked through that doorway. I would have been the person that won that ticket. If only I had just, attended that event, or, if only I had done the thing, but at the last second I was like, I don't know. No, I guess I won't. If he doesn't listen to his intuition, he knows he winds up with missed opportunities. So he's much more attuned to hearing what he knows to be true. 9 of Cups is upright also. It's all about You should go toward the things that give you the good vibe. You should go toward the things that make you happy, despite the fact he's made a mistake or two and he has some regrets. Overall, he's a pretty contented person. I think he's got tremendous trust in his own intuition now. And sometimes the best way that we develop good intuition is when we don't listen to it and we see the consequences versus when we do and we can compare results and be like, I didn't do this. I knew I should have. And look at what I lost. I did do this. I know I should have. And look at what I gained. So I think that this is like, he knows better than to let opportunities pass him by. I think that's really great. I think that's a really Knight of Pentacles. He still has a sense of, he listens for the message from the universe that tells him when to act, though, knowing that this is the right path and then knowing when to go down that path. Those are two different, I'll say, skill sets to have developed. He doesn't become somebody who just like rushes in the second. He's like, oh, I have this vibe. I should do this right now because I thought of it. He's much more controlled. I mean, come on, he's a magician. Magicians are going to get results. They're going to manifest. And to manifest doesn't mean it's like, I'm thinking of a ham sandwich. Poof, there's my ham sandwich. That's not the way it works, right? Manifesting is more like we come up with an idea or something that we recognize from our soul or our heart space or our subconscious says, this is a true part of me talking to myself right now. There's something that I desire. There's something that I believe is right for me. Now that I've brought it more to the forefront of my mind, I'm going to start consciously and even subconsciously gravitating toward the things that'll make that wish that I have, this path that I believe is right for me, become the path that I'm on. And we start to pay more attention to little context clues. It's like if we are thinking in the back of our mind, I know that I'm going to need, at some point, I'm going to need, let's go with something very tangible. At some point, I'm going to need a truck because I have this idea of I want to do some big landscaping, but I'm going to have to bring in all kinds of loads of, fill dirt and barks and, all kinds of things. I'm going to need to haul some heavy stuff. And then I'm going to want to build a gazebo. I'm going to need a truck because that's the first step to me getting all that other stuff. I got to go buy materials or find free materials, but I got to haul it. So I need a truck first. That's like, what the big picture is, what the big manifestation is, but now you're also saying the steps that I need to take in order to get there. I'm scoping things like that out. It's in the back of my mind. Now, guess what? I notice 2 blocks away from me, somebody's selling an old truck. It's a really good price too. It doesn't look great, but I don't care. It's just to haul stuff. This is perfect. I got the first step toward my manifestation happening. That's how I look at it more, is like, because I always think that we create our reality, but through actual tangible effort. But you still got to start with the thought. So I don't know that I'm right. It's just, that's how I look at it, because I'm not somebody who's like, oh, I'm manifesting that person is going to do what I want them to. That would be like puppeting somebody, and I'm not into that. Or imagining that I can just think it and then it'll just be mine. I think that that's setting ourselves up for living in la la land, but that's just me. So I would describe manifestation more in that context, because I'm more of a realist, or maybe because I have not had things just drop into my lap. I have to work for what I get. But it's fun because you're working with the flow of, the universe, and it makes you more aware of what's going on and what you want. And then you pay attention to when it feels like the right time to take the next step in this plan that you've got for your life. That's the way I would describe him. A magician, but I'm sorry to talk so much about that, but I'm trying to describe actually this card and the way I see it, because he's a Knight of Pentacles. This is slow, methodical, earthy, tangible results that take tangible action. So I would say that this is how he's going to do things. So even if he meets her, senses there's a vibe, like, I think that she's my person, and I think I'm going to regret it if I don't take action toward her. But it might not be the time to do it today. It might not be the time to reach out to her. I'm going to keep her on my mind. Maybe he's already envisioning. In fact, let's ask, what is it that you're envisioning, in stepping into her world or engaging with her? Okay, so the big plan is, I'm going to marry her. The big plan is, I see us dancing at a wedding. Okay, a lot of things have to happen before you marry her, right? You have to first date her. You have to first get to know her. But in his mind, that's a destination, is us together. Okay, Now he knows where he's headed. How is he going to get there? What's the next first step? We have the Nine of Wands in the reverse, making sure nobody's still harboring any pain or, if there's anything to tidy up in our own backyard, any old unhealed wounds or anything like that, it's like close out cycles. This could be him making sure his palate is cleansed. There's no exes that he's still attached to, or kind of like maybe what if saging his house, getting rid of any old leftover stuff from past relationships, letting go of old wounds, really cleansing what he has power over. And then it's Nine of Cups, starting to gravitate maybe toward where he sees her, going physically, going places where she is. This is somebody being master of their own ship. But the Nine of Cups is doing the things that make me happy. But in this case, if seeing her makes him happy, and we already know he's like seeing her somehow like in her work, he may be gravitating toward places that he will encounter her, or gravitating toward, engaging with her. But it's like he's going to do things that make him happy. And one of those things happens to be kind of pursuing her. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. Maybe he's going to be working on something that would bring him closer into her world, something that he is developing or learning about specifically because he's like, this is going to bring me closer into her universe a little bit. Now, obviously, this is a little bit more of an indirect route instead of just walking up, hi, I'm so-and-so, let me shake your hand, can I get your number? This feels like it's maybe because even as a magician, he's aware that he had a little bit of stuff he needed to tidy up in his own house. Those are all very personal cards that all say, because we got, all nines, 3 nines in a row. This all says that a 10 is where we're closing a cycle and beginning a new cycle. A 10 is where we're ready to like put our 5 on it and let them put their 5 on it. And yes, I'm thinking of that song right now. I got 5 on it. But he's not quite there yet. Even though he's a wonderful magician, he's a great manifester, he's got to do a little prep work in himself so that then he can go down this road of the ultimate goal is, I want to be with her. I see me with her. It does feel like a bit of a love at first sight thing, but it feels like he's going to be thinking about how he gravitates into her world. And we have the Magician again. Here he is now, hand on the crystal ball. He's getting more dialed in, locked in, more focused on this is really going to happen. I'm making progress here. I know this is somebody that I want, and I'm preparing myself, and I'm feeling more empowered about this. And I'm feeling like she's inspired me to tidy up some things in my life so I can move toward her. It's very interesting. And I kind of think that if we go back to her for just a minute, remember I said, it feels like she said, it's not the right time for me to move. I mean, I really can't change anything. My family needs me, or, my nieces and nephews love me and I love them, and I need to be around for right now. It's just not the right time for me to let go of any of these non-romantic connections that I have. And yes, it consumes my time. And yes, I have a lot going on and I don't really have time to go out and meet other people, but I can't abandon any of the current connections that I have, or not even abandon, but I really can't withdraw from them because they need me. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do to go out and find time to date or find a way to go meet somebody. It wouldn't be right for me to let go of any of the current responsibilities or connections that I have developed. And I actually think she's spot on with that. And I'm wondering if this is such a beautiful message, because it says she's already living like her most beautiful life as far as like her doing the things that her heart really says, but it's right for me to be here right now. Yes, I'd like to have a partner, but I don't know how I'm going to go meet one because I just don't have that much time to devote to that. There are other things that I have to give my attention to. I think this is saying she's spot on, but the beautiful and like balanced, other half of this story is that she doesn't know it, but she's inspiring somebody to make some changes in his own life so that he can match into her world. She doesn't have to make any changes right now. She's already, just by virtue of being who she is, this magician, he's drawn to her. Her energy is inspiring him to make some alterations that he needed to make in his life. He's basically bringing his level up to hers. At first I was like, okay, well, how is she ever going to get any free time to do what she needs to do? Well, turns out she's doing what she needs to do. She's already vibing really high. This person is upping their frequency to meet her. That's actually the way this needed to go. So she wasn't supposed to be moving, going, out there having to make her job the act of finding a partner or anything like that. This is more about the story of the magician who's shifting some things in his own life so he matches to her frequency. So it's all going to work out for her. Somebody who's maybe a really beautiful match for her, they're the ones preparing themselves, and she's otherwise already doing what she's supposed to be doing. We got this Knight of Pentacles again. Yes, it seems like it's coming in slow, but slow, consistent. He is not at all like getting off target. In fact, I think he's dialing in more and more the fact that she really is going to be the person I really want to pursue. And we have the Hierophant. So we've got the Magician twice, we've got the Knight of Pentacles twice, and we've got 2 marriage cards, Hierophant and 4 of Wands. Every time we talk to him, he's getting more like dialed in. This is so certain for him that this is going to work. It's a darn good thing she hasn't moved away. It's a darn good thing she didn't leave anything behind or alter the path of her life, because she's where she's supposed to be. And it's also affording him time to get everything arranged in his own life. We got that 9 of Swords. It is sideways. He's almost complete with some chapter of his book of life. There is still some stress, but not too much. What's his stress about right now? 6 of Wands, King of Wands. He's only starting to worry, like, okay, have I done enough brush up in my life? Will I have success? If I reached out to her now, could I make her see that, like, if she, gives me a shot, I got more plans for the future. We're going to be able to keep growing. Things are just going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep getting better. This feels like a divine masculine. It doesn't have to be masculine, but he's shown up that way so far. So we're going to say this is a divine masculine who is so incredibly likable and driven and such a solid person already, but he's really about developing himself and wanting to make sure he's the best possible version of himself to offer to somebody, and wanting to say, and I can still do more too. Like, he's so incredibly humble also. He seems like a freaking catch, man. This guy is a good one. I hope that there's like an opportunity soon for them to connect, because it feels like there's already been so much, scaffolding put in place. There's so much that has been, improving, and so much that's been carefully thought about in this storyline. That is the next step. We've got the Knight of Wands. Okay, do I come forward and ask her out now? Can I do that? Can I move forward and just ask her out? Ace of Swords. He's like, well, I think I oughta better. Maybe it's time I do this. Ace of Swords, moment of truth. So are you reaching out to her pretty quick then? Because that's what it's starting to look like. King of Swords, my, indeed he is, in quite a formal way. All right, what's her reaction going to be? What is her reaction going to be? Sideways cards, 4 of Swords, 10 of Wands. She might misunderstand the whole shebang. She might be, because this can be like somebody who's kind of in a silent mode and they're just listening to the universe. This is somebody who's, wondering, contemplating like her next chapter of life, kind of like letting go of fear, guilt, shame, remorse, but trying to listen. And she's like more in a contemplative, thoughtful energy right now, not really knowing what her next step is in life when he approaches her. So she's very much kind of in her own, internal world as he comes forward to her. 2 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands. I really keep thinking that as he approaches, this is going to be on a day where she is so lost in thought, going back and forth in her mind, and possibly even feeling like, God, I don't know. Maybe I need to focus on some things that I still need to like heal in myself. Maybe maybe I'm not ready for relationships anyway, because I'm realizing that I've got some stuff I still need to, fine tune. Maybe that's why maybe I'm hiding out. Maybe I'm not reaching out for romance because I'm still thinking that there's some stuff that's unpolished in me. it's so crazy because all of this keeps saying she's just self-focused at the moment. The day he reaches out to her is not a day that she's thinking about anybody noticing her. And in fact, she might be saying, I should probably retreat a little further from everybody. She might be just about to go like way deep and go into like dark night of the soul, which I think is unnecessary here. I think she's kind of telling herself that, I'll just ignore absolutely everybody. Maybe that would be better, like intentionally push away all thoughts of romance, because maybe there's something still, that really is a little bit broken in me that I need to resolve first. I think she's like going way off the deep end on this. She's been busy giving her time and attention to people that she loves. She's been doing good works with other people. She's been an integral part of helping other people. None of that speaks of somebody who's running away from love or who's not ready and capable of being in a beautiful relationship. She's in beautiful relationships right now. They just happen to be non-romantic. Okay, thank God, because I think he's coming in to save her before she goes. She's like about to depart and go into the land of, when you go into that hermit mode, that hermetically sealed capsule of I'm only going to do this deep dive and contemplate, my life and the universe and, stare at my navel and contemplate my belly button. She doesn't really need to do that. That would be the wrong turn for her. I mean, look, I'm sorry to be so mouthy, but those are the cards that we got. And the person that she is, if she's already this good at relationships, I don't know what she thinks is missing or broken in her that would say, maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship anyway. I think sometimes people want to retreat because they just don't really see the way forward. And then they're like, almost the less they interact with like romantic people, the more they're like, I don't even know how to do that. I probably shouldn't. I probably am not suited for it. I probably should just, be a monk or a nun. And none of that is true. Thank God, him coming in to present himself to her is going to be like, whew, light switch goes on. All of a sudden, forget about that deep, dark, dark night of the soul hermit journey she was about to take. She's already like a freaking Queen of Wands. I think she needed somebody amazing to stand in front of her and seek her out. I kind of think that's what this story is that she's needed to be sought after. Maybe she was never sought after by anybody before. Maybe she matched up with partners in the past that weren't really ready for anything. Maybe she was in the habit of like not being like chosen by a partner. And maybe that's why all of this says, no, darling, you don't need to do a thing. Stay right where you are. Love the people that you love. You're not the problem. You're good in any kind of relationship. You're caring, you're loving, you are a support network without, demanding too much. You understand equal give and take. We know you haven't had a partner who could do that with you, but hang on, one's getting ready for you. You stay right where you are. You wait right here. There's this awesome King of Wands that is coming your way. There's this awesome King of Swords, King of Wands, however we want to refer to him, coming your way. You're going to be sought after. You stay right where you are. You're doing just fine. Thank God, though, that he comes in when he does, because I think she was starting to like retreat and think, maybe she was going to like seal herself off for the next like 5 years from all ideas of dating. And that would have been an epic mistake. Definitely epic mistake. Hanged man. Whew, thank God he comes in when he does, because this is about more delays. He gets to her in the nick of time. I think that the big message here is we shouldn't decide that we're going to go and hide ourselves away. We also maybe shouldn't assume that if we're not out there knocking on doors and forcing stuff to happen, that nothing will ever happen for us, because in this story, she was already doing her best life. She was already where she needed to be. Sometimes we have to let, things pass us by that, are supposed to enter into our world. We are manifesting that way as well. I know I talked a lot about the opposite of manifesting, going out and making things happen. But I always think that the other side of it is to be the magnet that attracts, to say, I receive, universe, the things that will pass into my life. I will pay attention to them and say, maybe this came to me for a reason. Maybe I had this lesson for a reason. Maybe I saw this or that for a reason. Once in a while we get interested in something that we didn't even know existed. And it was all because we accidentally stumbled on something. We had a conversation with somebody on the bus ride on our way to work. They mentioned a restaurant we've never didn't know existed. We go to it. We wind up meeting, whatever, the love of our life or lifelong friends. Sometimes we manifest through saying, universe, I'm open to what comes into my world. I accept that it may have meaning, and I will be open to exploring that. And I think that's more her energy. The energy of the divine feminine is always going to be the gravitational pull, the moon energy. He was in the sun's energy, the energy of the masculine, which is the I'm projecting outward, and then I'm going to make things happen to get to my destination point. So I definitely feel like she needed to be the moon and let him be the sun. That is the divine counterpart. It took a while for these two to get together, but I think that now we have like divine timing at play here. This is just right. And it's just when she really needed him to come forward, or needed somebody in her life, because she was kind of at that point where she was shutting down, thinking, maybe I just am not supposed to be with anybody. I'll just live for my family. And that's good. He is a straight up King of Wands, Ace of Swords. I think she's going to recognize this. You notice that we have two messengers. I feel like they both understand this somehow was so perfect. It was so divine. We have a perfectly matched couple now. King and a Queen of Wands. After a long stretch of her being solo and single, and after possibly a long stretch of him developing himself into the man that he is, these two both recognize, my God, this couldn't have been more perfect. How did we get so lucky? It's like, well, is it luck, or is it that the life lessons that needed to be learned and the self-development that had to happen is ultimately what was, putting them on the same frequency, so then they could gravitate toward each other? I don't know, but it does feel like these are true divine counterparts. That's a really nice one. And I'm so happy to see that it feels a little bit not effortless, because they're both busy in life, right? These aren't characters that are sitting around doing nothing, waiting for, like they're not entitled, feeling like they just deserve all kinds of great stuff to happen in their life. They're actively investing in the things that they need to in their life. He more in himself, and she in the relationships that, with people that she cares about. That was actually really nice. It was kind of a refreshing look. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I will be back later on tonight. Oh, Annie S., I'm so glad. I didn't know. Not very many people watched that video. So I'm glad to hear your feedback on that. The week ahead for each zodiac. I don't know if I'd like to start doing that and have it come out every Monday, maybe way early on Monday morning, where I do a card pull for each zodiac to set the tone for the week. I would like it to be a little longer than the video that I put out. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, over on Kate's Regretless Life, yesterday being Monday, I posted a video that was an all signs weekly, like look ahead. And the video, I don't know if it was the time that I put it out, or it was because I was busy going live so much yesterday to celebrate Memorial Day, but it was just one of those things that I don't think very many people even saw the video. And so I was like, I don't know if I'll keep doing these. Usually if I start something, I like to do it for a couple weeks and then see if you guys enjoy the content. So anyway, if you didn't know, you can check that video out, and we'll see if I get enough, thumbs up on it and you guys seem to like it. After a week or two, I might just keep it. But thank you so much. I'm really glad. Sam Juanita, great to see you. Rhonda, great to catch you. You did an RS, awesome. Apple Holo, you guys are so awesome. Thank you. Then maybe I should at least do it for the Night Owl crew. I know it's an early morning video, but it seems like everybody who's a night owl said that you guys all like it. You guys are so sweet. Miss So the Observer. Don't you think it should be a little bit louder though? Or excuse me, a little bit longer, not louder. I'll talk really loud. Sorry, I don't know why that word popped out of my mouth. That would be hysterical. But no, I think that it should be a little bit longer for each zodiac, and just see if it works. Annie, yes, that's right. I know you're not a night owl, are you? You're the early bird. Apple Holo like the length of it. Okay. EM, you like short and sweet? Okay. All right. That gives me some good feedback, you guys. Thank you. I'm glad to hear it. Maybe I'll turn on the comments on the next one for next Monday, and then let everybody weigh in a little bit. That would be fun. Or I'll put out a poll or something and see what you guys like. I got a couple votes for keep it short and sweet. So that makes it really fun for me. I don't know. I just felt like it would be a nice shift. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Really, Rhonda, you angel, thank you so much. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. I so appreciate that. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. Miss So the Observer, hey, hey. Ken, how are you? Ken, you sweetheart, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the soiree. Shout out to you in London, mate. So great to see you also. Hi, Lori. 422 where you are, hun. Oh my gosh. We're all in such different time zones, aren't we? Patricia Bucator. That just warms my heart even more that you guys are here. Hi, Robin. Very Lestrange. I have to look up how to pronounce your name properly because I know it's beautiful and I know I'm botching it. Sarwat, great to catch you, hun. Thanks for popping by. Hi, Nope. And again, EM, Tammy Secord, thank you so much. Nikki O, it's Jenny, The Light. Hi, honey. Hi, Decoded. Thank you guys so much. Small TV was in the house. I know, Small TV. With my hair down, you can't really see earrings right now. In fact, no, I don't actually even have any on. I think I was wearing these ones in one of the other videos, but you couldn't see them and they pinch. These ones are much tighter on my chubby earlobes. I don't have pierced ears. They're all clip-ons. So sometimes they'll give me a headache if they're my pretty ones. Some of my prettiest ones, they pinch so much on my chubby earlobes. Hi, Lulu. Inner Peace, great to catch you, love. The Bayou, hi, hon. I haven't said hi to you in ages. Hi, Astrid. Thank you guys again. All right, everybody, I'm going to bounce out. I'll be back later on this evening. We'll do some zodiacs on the other channel. Okay, so I'm going to need a votes for a little bit longer. Okay, no problems. Okay, Rare Lestrange, thank you so much. Thank you. You're so generous. It's so like gracious with me. Any S votes for longer also. All right, so I got a 50-50 split. All right, we'll figure it out together. We'll figure it out. Yeah, you know, it's so true. Like, I love doing the lives because then I can talk to you guys in real time. When I turn on the comments, oh, I was so disappointed because, you know, I turned off comments a while ago because I just don't have enough time to monitor everything. And then for a couple of the videos where they turned into like 2 and 3 parters, you know, lots of times I like to ask you guys, do you actually want another part to this or not? Because maybe it was only me that was intrigued by the characters. But then I turned on comments on a couple of videos, and I mean, we're talking instantly. The spammers are back. The just grotesque comments are back. And it's so much for me to keep up with that it takes away from just the time that I would normally spend to just be able to, you know, do this storytelling. And so I prefer to have comments off. It's just with the amount of spammers and the people that, you know, pretend to be me and they try to get you to contact them and try to get you to go buy books that don't exist and all of that. I'm like, I just want to keep the community safe because those scammers are really prevalent. And for some reason, they've always targeted my channel and I've always had to be super diligent, but I used to have to check my comments hourly, all day. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. This is too much. So that's why I've turned off comments. And it honestly, it's so refreshing because then also it's more special that I get to talk to you guys sometimes in real time. I just feel like it's a lot more fun this way. And I don't waste energy having to keep the scammers out. And there were just so many attacks in my comments from, you know, people making fake accounts, people pretending to be me, trying to get you guys to contact them, trying to sell you readings. By the way, I don't sell readings, never have. I did have an Etsy store once upon a time where I would sell decks and it came with a free reading, but I just don't have time to run my Etsy store anymore. So I have all my old decks that are still stacked up that I haven't sold, but I just don't have time to do that. But in the meantime, I know that there are 2 fake accounts on Facebook. I am not on Facebook. There are 2 fake accounts that have stolen screenshots of my content here, pretending to be me, calling themselves by my name and trying to sell you guys free readings. Well, they wouldn't be free, but they're trying to get you to contact them to buy a reading. And I contacted Facebook and went through and like said, hey, this is a total imposter. And I even filled out the forms, submitted my driver's license, and whatever their YouTube algorithm, or excuse me, their Facebook algorithm thing is, they came back and said I was the imposter, and they blocked me for life on Facebook. So I can't stand Facebook. I have so much negativity toward that whole thing because they're protecting imposters. And even though I followed all the protocols, showed them proof, explained everything, I guess they don't have real people maybe that are going through this to verify what I sent. And so they just decided to make this decree that I'm the fake and I'm blocked for life. And there's not like a recourse for that. I guess the only thing I could do is write a handwritten letter, try to send it to like a headquarters. That's the only thing like left, because they make it impossible to like, if anybody knows a way for me to contact them directly and get this sorted out, let me know. But they're still out there from what I understand, the fake accounts, and there's nothing I can do about it. So really frustrating. But yeah, anyway, I'm not on Facebook. So if you see that, please flag them as imposters. They are imposters, 100%. So anyway, you guys, lots of love. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. Bye for now.